Because of the strength of Scout, do I reckon Natasha heavies will be regularly run? In matchmaking? No. It's not that simple. Just because something's effective against another class doesn't mean that it's effective overall. Because a heavy being run full time is it's more of a detriment to your team than it is like useful for countering scouts, because first of all, a heavy is easy to focus down. Like a scout can still kill a Natasha heavy pretty easily. A demo and soldier can destroy a heavy if he's just sitting there. And what you do is you have to sacrifice a scout or a soldier or something that's actually like consistently useful to run that heavy. And now there's a big opening somewhere in the map, like your flank is open, or something like that, or because of your mobility going down so dramatically, if the other team Ubers in, they're guaranteed to pick you if you have to run away or something like that. I don't know. That's part of one of the things I like about TF2 though, is that there are certain classes like that shine in certain situations, and you use them in those situations, and the game works. Some people, like Rizrak, you just asked, what would you change about Heavy to make him more viable? I wouldn't. Heavy should exist as it exists. It does the thing that Heavy does, in my opinion. It shouldn't be full-time viable, because then the game just gets worse. Because now you have a guy that can be buffed to 450 health, whose only weakness is basically mobility. And the only way to make him more viable is to remove the mobility like weakness, which they've almost done with things like the GRU and the steak sandwich and the eviction notice. And those weapons make the heavy like extremely viable. And then like, what's the game now? Now you're like dealing with fucking heavies, and the game slows down, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it's necessary to make heavy viable. Okay, then you go to like spy. What would you have to do to make spy always viable? What would you have to do? You would have to basically turn spy into a scout, where he's like really powerful in close range. But then what's the point of that? Like, that's not what spy does. You know what I mean? Anyone who doesn't play the 3DM classes are left out in the cold. That's not true at all. You just have to get good at playing the classes that are the best. Like, doesn't that make sense? I don't know. Like, again, like, look at other games maybe. These kind of comparisons never work. But say you go to like Counter-Strike, and there's a kid who's like, I want to play this game with pistols only. Okay? Should it be viable where you can run pistols only and be just as effective as spending the $5,000 to get an op? Does that make sense? You're choosing a weapon that's like objectively worse, or like situational, or you have to play in a certain playstyle to make it work, and expecting it to work all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the wrong mindset, not the let's have a bunch of classes that are very versatile, and then situational utility classes that fill in the gaps and catch the other team off guard, or are very situational that reward you for reading the situation properly, rather than just spawning on the class and it just being like permanently viable and it affects the game in some huge way. That's my opinion. So yeah, that's it. Obviously, I love 6v6, and the flow of the game is near perfect. All they need to do is rebalance some items, and then 6v6 is like perfect. And maybe like play around a little with like time limits, because I don't like the 30-minute time limit, but I also can admit that having two 30-minute halves might be unrealistic for like a big time tournament kind of thing. Maybe not, but somewhere in between, like a compromise, like maybe a 45-minute timer. 45-minute timer would give you a lot more freedom to take risks. And ooh, look at this, 18 people searching. Give you a lot more freedom to take risks, but at the same time, you could kind of play the clock. You know, it'd be more of a compromise. And we're in, baby. All right. I don't know if the stress test started, but there's enough people searching that I'm in. So we're playing.